What happens when a 330-pound wrecking ball decides to send a message while Triple H is away? Chaos. I'm talking about Bronson Reed going absolutely berserk backstage on Monday Night Raw, taking out not one, but two of the biggest names in WWE. Drew McIntyre? Down. Bron Breakker? Flattened. This is Suplex Rumble, and we're breaking down one of the most insane backstage attacks of the year. Alright, wrestling family, before we dive into this absolute mayhem, let's paint the picture of what was going down on Raw. Paul Levesque, better known as Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, was hospitalized. Now, when the boss is away, sometimes the rules go out the window, and Bronson Reed took full advantage of that situation. But here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't some random attack. This was calculated. This was strategic. And this was Bronson Reed reminding everyone in that locker room why he's one of the most dangerous men in all of professional wrestling. Now, if you're new to Suplex Rumble, hit that subscribe button because we bring you the best wrestling analysis, breakdowns, and discussions every single week. And if you're already part of the Rumble family, drop a comment below and tell me, did Bronson Reed just elevate himself to main event status with this attack? Let's break this down piece by piece, because what happened on Raw wasn't just an attack, it was a statement. First victim, the Scottish warrior himself, Drew McIntyre. Drew has been on an absolute tear lately. The man is a former WWE champion, he's been in some of the biggest matches of the past few years, and he's always positioned as one of the top guys on Raw. So when Bronson Reed decided to target Drew, he wasn't going after some mid-carder. He was going after royalty. Picture this, Drew is backstage, possibly preparing for a segment, maybe cutting a promo, doing what Drew does best, being an absolute unit of a human being. And then, out of nowhere, here comes Bronson Reed like a freight train with no brakes. Now, what makes this so impactful is the sheer brutality of it. Bronson Reed isn't known for technical wrestling showcases or high-flying maneuvers. This man is a destroyer. When Reed attacks someone, it's personal, it's vicious, and it leaves a mark both physically and in our memories. The backstage area becomes a war zone. Equipment is flying, crew members are scrambling to get out of the way, and Drew McIntyre, one of the toughest men in WWE, is getting absolutely ragdolled by this Australian powerhouse. And here's what I love about this from a storytelling perspective. Drew has been in wars with Roman Reigns, he's gone toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, he's battled everyone. But there's something different when you get jumped backstage. There's no referee, no rules, no time to prepare. It's pure, unfiltered violence, and Bronson Reed specializes in that brand of chaos. Think about the message this sends. Bronson Reed is essentially saying, I don't care about your reputation. I don't care about your accolades. When I want to hurt someone, nothing stops me. That's the kind of heel heat that makes for incredible television. But wait, Bronson Reed wasn't done. Oh no, one victim wasn't enough for Big Bronson. Enter Bron Breakker, the second-generation superstar who's been absolutely dominant since joining the main roster. This guy is the son of Rick Steiner, nephew of Scott Steiner, and he's got the pedigree, the power, and the intensity that screams future WWE champion. Bron has been bulldozing through competition. He's got that old-school intensity mixed with modern athleticism. He's exactly the kind of guy WWE is building their future around. So when Bronson Reed set his sights on Bron Breakker, the stakes got even higher. Now, here's where the story gets even more interesting. Was Bron trying to help Drew? Was he in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was Bronson Reed specifically targeting both of these men as part of a larger plan? From what we saw, it appears that Bron either stumbled upon the attack or came to Drew's aid because that's what intense, fight-first guys like Bron Breakker do. But Bronson Reed was ready. This wasn't a man caught off guard. This was a predator who had planned every second of this assault. Bron Breakker gets hit with the same relentless aggression that took down Drew. And for those of you who watch Raw regularly, you know how rare it is to see Bron Breakker on the receiving end of this kind of beating. This guy is usually the one dishing out the punishment. The image of both Drew McIntyre and Bron Breakker laid out backstage, courtesy of one man, is something that's going to be replayed for years. This is the kind of moment that defines careers. This is the kind of moment that gets someone into the main event scene instantly. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the game who wasn't in the room. Triple H being hospitalized is a serious real-life concern, and we absolutely send our best wishes to him and his family. But from a storyline perspective, his absence created this perfect storm for chaos. Triple H has been the steady hand guiding WWE programming. He's the authority figure who keeps order, who makes matches, who hands out consequences. Without him there, it's like the inmates are running the asylum, and Bronson Reed took full advantage. Think about it, would this attack have happened if Triple H was in the building? Maybe Bronson Reed would have thought twice. Maybe security would have been tighter. Maybe there would have been immediate repercussions. But with the boss away, Reed saw an opportunity and he seized it. This also sets up some fascinating questions for the coming weeks. When Triple H returns, what's the fallout going to be? Is Bronson Reed going to face suspension? Is he going to be put in a match where Drew and Bron get their revenge? Or is Triple H going to recognize that Bronson Reed just made himself undeniable as a main event player and reward him with a championship opportunity? And what about Drew and Bron? Are they going to team up to take Reed down? Are we looking at a potential triple threat situation? The booking possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this so exciting. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about why this moment is so significant for WWE as a whole. First, it elevates Bronson Reed instantly. Before this, Reed was having solid matches, showing up on Raw, being a solid hand. But after taking out two main event level talents in one night, he's now in the conversation. He's now someone that must be taken seriously. Second, it creates fresh storylines. We've seen Drew in championship feuds, we've seen Bron dominating mid-card competition. But this gives all three men something new to work with. It gives creative fresh material, and it gives us as fans something to be excited about week after week. Third, it showcases WWE's depth. The fact that they can have an angle like this with three incredibly talented performers, and it doesn't even involve their current champions, shows how stacked the roster is right now. This is the kind of depth that creates memorable years in wrestling history. And finally, it reminds us why we love professional wrestling. Yes, the championships matter. Yes, the big pay-per-view matches are important. But sometimes, the most memorable moments happen when someone decides to throw out the rulebook and create chaos. That's what Bronson Reed did, and that's why we can't stop talking about it. So there you have it, Rumble family. Bronson Reed's assault on Drew McIntyre and Bron Breakker is one of those moments that's going to be talked about for a long time. It's the kind of angle that creates stars, sells tickets, and reminds us why Monday Night Raw is still the longest-running weekly episodic television show in history. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Team Bronson Reed or Team Drew and Bron? What should Triple H do when he returns? Where do you see this storyline going? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash the like button, subscribe to Suplex Rumble for more incredible wrestling content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep watching, keep wrestling, and remember, in the world of professional wrestling, anything can happen.